But you were going berserk.
I didn't do it, I swear it. It was them.
Must be because you weren't talking to her, Vera. Didn't mean to push her over the deep end.
No, she went right off like that, Miss Bennett.
Lying.
We'll soon put a stop to your little tantrums. You can sleep in that mess tonight. The damages will come out of your wages. And I'm sure Mrs. Davidson will be very interested to know that you've been playing around with these.
You're just siding with them, you dried-up old maid.
Report to me tomorrow. I'm sure I can find a few jobs to clean out your dirty little mouth. And the rest of you, get out of here. No, it's sad. It's really sad.
It's always the tough ones who go first.
I'll get you, Smith. Just you wait.
Oh, God, I wish I'd changed the breakfast menu. Same old muck day after day.
Yeah, it was so bloody awful that Chrissie couldn't even eat it.
Yeah, she'd lose her appetite all of a sudden, didn't she?
Just see her jump off and take off like John Landy.
Mind you, the tuck her hair has much the same effect on me.
Oh.
I think she's too scared to eat. Scared stupid of what we might do to her next, I reckon.
Yep, I reckon we're getting to her all right. I reckon one way or another our little Miss Chrissie isn't feeling too chipper this morning. Oh, there's a real bad smell in here lately, Lizzie. I wonder what it is.
Yeah, I noticed it too. Must be something dead.
Or something that ought to be dead.
I could think up lots of ways of doing someone in who burns other people's poems.
Don't worry, Dor. Awful things happen to people who do awful things. You remember Anne Yates? Smothering slowly in the dry must be a rotten death.
Yeah, but I bet that I could think up something far worse for someone I really hated.
That put the rocket up.
Mrs. Davidson, it's Dr. Miller here. Look, I think the drugs cabinet has been broken into. I'm quite sure that I locked it when I left here yesterday, but it's open. Yes, well, that's the strange thing. Nothing seems to be missing. None of the obvious drugs, anyway. I'd have to check with the inventory to be sure, though. Right, well, I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
being searched by Vera is enough to drive anyone around the twist.
You reckon her hands must be as cold as her heart? What are they looking for, anyway?
I'm buggered if I know, but if she lays one more hand on me, I'm going straight to the dock and I'm going to ask to be disinfected.
Told you wouldn't find nothing. Could have saved your time and mine. You wouldn't trust your own mother, would you?
Shut up, Anderson.
Oh, she's nothing if not polite.
Latham, come here. Lift your arms.
Make sure you search all the right places, Vera. With a girl like that, you never know where she might hide things.
Where have you been? Where were you just coming from? Why weren't you in your cell?
You put her on dunny duty.
We'll get back to it.
Better wash your hands, Vera, after what you've been handling.
I'd like to wash my hands of the lot of you.
That's our favourite dream too, Vera.
Anything?
I wish you'd tell us what you're looking for, Mrs. Jackson.
You don't have to know.
Oh.
Not a sign.
Not a sign of what?
Has everyone been searched? Yes, they have. All right, you lot. Back to work.
Hey, Vera, next time you want to run your hands over my beautiful body, get Fletch to do it. He might appreciate me a bit more then.
That's enough of your filth, Smith.
Mrs. Davidson said she'd be in the examination room with Dr. Miller.
Well, maybe now she'll be able to tell us exactly what's missing.
There's really no cause for too much concern. There were no dangerous drugs stolen.
Are you sure, Dr. Miller? If someone went to the trouble to pick the lock and then break into the drugs cabinet, they must have been after something. Perhaps you've made a mistake.
I know exactly what's been stolen. When I returned here, I was obliged to restock the drugs cabinet. I kept a very good record of what I ordered and what I handed out.
Well?
Ipecac syrup in a small bottle, about 100 milliliters.
What is Ipecac syrup?
It's an emetic. Can't do any serious harm.
Well, someone must have stolen it in error, thinking it was something else.
Probably. But there's really nothing to worry about.
Well, don't you think it's a bit incredible that anyone would go to that trouble and then be careless enough to take the wrong thing?
Yes, I do.
Everything seems to be okay in there, Doctor.
Good. Could you arrange to have the lock on the drug cabinet door fixed?
What's up, Doc?
Sit down, Lizzie. What do you want?
I was wondering if you've got plenty of my heart pills.
What are you talking about?
Well, something's been nicked, hasn't it? And I just wanted to make sure you got plenty of pills for the old ticket.
Lizzie, if that's all you came in for, then I suggest you leave and stop wasting my time.
Haven't you got a moment to spare for a poor old woman? What happened to your hypocritical oath?
You'll hear an oath in a minute if you don't get out of here.
Shall I reorder the Ipecac syrup?
Yes, put it on the list. It's not urgent. Now, Lizzie.
All right, I'm going. I know when I'm not wanted.
It would have been a lot easier if we'd known what we were looking for.
I didn't know exactly myself when I instigated the search, Miss Bennett. All I knew was that the drug cabinets had been broken into and obviously something had been taken. However, as we hadn't found it...
They should all be confined to their cells until it is found.
If it were a more serious matter, I would consider it, but as it is...
You don't think that someone stealing drugs is a serious matter? Mrs. Davidson, I don't understand your attitude.
What has been taken is not a dangerous drug, Miss Bennett, and I have no intention of causing bother for a lot of other people over what appears to be a childish prank.
It obviously isn't a hard drug, but will it have any effect if whoever stole it tries to use it?
Oh, yes, it will have an effect, all right.
What sort of effect?
It causes vomiting. If you find anyone exhibiting these particular symptoms, don't take them to the doctor. Bring them directly to me. And please give this information to all the other officers.
Right.
What do you think's going on? Do you think they mistook this stuff for something else?
I'm not sure. It seems likely that someone is playing a rather silly and unpleasant practical joke.
Very unpleasant. Hardly my idea of a joke.
What these women find funny, Meg, is unlikely to amuse us.
You've been vomiting.
How did you guess?
Come with me.
No. I'll be all right. Don't worry, I'll get back to my work.
You're coming to see the governor.
Lizzie?
Oh, God, Mrs. Jackson, you're trying to stop this old ticker of mine.
Now, if you were where you're supposed to be, you wouldn't have got such a fright. Now, why aren't you in the laundry with the others?
I'm feeling a bit crook this morning, Mrs. Jackson, and I thought I'd just have a gander at the medical dictionary and find out what's the matter with me.
And what symptoms are you looking up, Lizzie?
Oh, just a touch of the collywobbles, I reckon.
I see. You haven't actually been sick, have you?
No. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else was.
Okay, I was sick. So what? It's no big deal. It's not surprising the muck you get to eat in here.
I see. So you think it was the food that made you sick?
Yeah, probably. I had a bit of gut trouble the other day. I saw the doc and he gave me some pills. I thought it was just the end of that.
Did you eat your breakfast this morning?
Bit of it.
Was there any reason why you didn't finish your breakfast?
Just didn't want it.
Did it taste all right?
Like I said, the food in here's muck. Tastes like muck.
Apart from your obvious opinion of the food in here, I am trying to find out whether your breakfast tasted any different.
Oh, I don't think so. What are you getting at?
There are a number of women in here who do not like you, Latham. Do you think someone is out to get you?
I don't know how you mean, Mrs. Davidson. I have been feeling a bit funny, though, today. Yeah, it's different than what it was the other day.
Different in what way?
It's a lot worse. I spewed a lot more.
Oh, watch your language, Latham.
It's all right, Miss Bennett. Go on.
Do you reckon someone's trying to poison me, Mrs. Davidson? B. Smith would be happy to see me dead. She even said so this morning. Oh, what have they done to me, Mrs. Davidson? I've been feeling real dreadful.
You'll be all right, Latham. Bring Smith to me immediately.
Have I done something? Because if I have, I don't know what it is.
I warned you, if anything happened to Latham, you would get the blame.
Yeah? So what?
Last night, something was stolen from the examination room.
Ah, so that's what the big search is all about. Well, what sort of something?
A bottle was taken from the drug cabinet.
Well, you ought to know how I feel about drugs. If you think I took it, you're barking up the wrong tree.
What was taken was more of a medicine than a drug.
Well, I don't need any medicine, do I? Nothing wrong with me.
No, but there is something wrong with Latham. It seems to me that she's been at the receiving end of the medicine that was stolen.
I wouldn't give her anything. I don't care if she drops dead.
Exactly. And I believe you said as much this morning.
Well, I still don't see what you're getting at. What was this medicine for, anyway?
It's an emetic.
Oh, terrific. That tells me a flaming lot.
Makes people vomit.
Oh, charming.
Which is exactly what Latham's been doing for the past few hours.
Oh, I see. So you think I've been making her sick with this stuff? Well, I told you you're barking up the wrong tree. I didn't go anywhere near the surgery last night, and I didn't steal any bloody thing.
I'm glad you think it's funny, Smith. It'll give you something to laugh about in solitary. Take her away, Miss Bennett.
You can't do that.
Oh, yes, I most certainly can.
I can see you're running true to form.
The more you argue, the longer you'll stay in solitary.
Oh.
Now, that's outrageous.
Really, Meg? What exactly?
What you just did. You made your judgment on the flimsiest of evidence.
Smith threatened Latham, and it seems she carried it out.
Seems is right. We can't be sure it was Smith, as you know yourself. There's any number of women in here who'd want to get even with Latham.
I think Smith did it, and I will not tolerate her so-called justice any longer. The woman has always been a ringleader and is a prime troublemaker.
Maybe so, but I can't see how you can claim your justice is any better than hers.
I've made my decision, Meg, and I will not discuss it any further. I think perhaps you are being less than objective in this particular case.
And what exactly does that mean?
I know it's difficult for you, Meg, working with Chrissie Latham here, but you should not allow your personal feelings to
I will not listen to this.
Very much for lunch. I'm sick of this place.
I wonder what the governor wanted to see B for.
Oh, something wrong with B. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, well, it's not like her to miss out on dinner.
Look at old Vinegar. She looks real pleased with herself. And look at that. She looks even more pleased than Vinegar. I don't like it a bit. And I reckon I know what it's all about.
What, Lizzie?
Did you find something out?
Bea hasn't done anything, has she?
Oh, you don't have to do anything wrong to get into trouble in here, do you?
Yeah, and if we find out that someone's caused trouble for Bea, well, we'll make them sorry that they're alive, won't we, Lizzie? They better not turn their backs on us for 1 minute.
That's enough of that, Anderson.
Miss Bennett, can I go and lay down? I feel funny.
You better not bump into Bea. That'll make you feel real funny.
She's hardly likely to do that.
Where is Bea, Miss Bennett?
She's in the pound, where she belongs.
But why?
What did she do?
Jeez.
I'll take over. You can go if you want to.
Something wrong?
Where's Latham?
In her cell. I gave her permission. Look, you don't want her vomiting in here, do you? I don't know what's the matter with you, Mick. I'll leave you to it.
Where are you going, Lizzie?
To the dunny, Mrs. Jackson.
Damn. Oh.
What are you staring at?
Oh, you poor thing. Feeling crook, are you? Been chucking up a lot, have you?
You get the hell out of here, you old bat.
I wonder what could be making you sick.
Yeah, you'd know all about making people sick, wouldn't you? Well, if you don't back off and leave me alone, Lizzie, I'm going to blame you as well as Bea. Then you'll end up in solitary too.
Come on, Lizzie. Back to the recreation room.
Yes, Mrs. Jackson, but first I got something to tell you that I reckon you'll be real interested in.
All right, Lizzie. What are you up to now?
I know all about that ipecac stuff. I read it in the medical dictionary.
Now, how did you find... No, don't tell me. I can guess. Well, what about it?
Well, Gov reckons that Bea did it, don't she? She reckons that Bea pinched the stuff and slipped some to Chrissie. That's why Bea's in the pound.
And what if she does?
Listen, that medical book says that ipecac stuff works right away, 20 minutes at the most. So how come Chrissie's still being sick and Bea's been in the pound a couple of hours?
Well, perhaps the effects continue for a while.
No, says once you've vomited, you're all right. Over and done with.
Well, I'll have a word with Dr. Miller and see what he has to say.
Oh, he'll tell you the same thing. I mean, if it says it in the book, it must be right, mustn't it?
Trouble is, Lizzie, if Bea isn't slipping the stuff into Chrissie's food, then someone else is. And who do you think's the most likely suspect?
Yes, Lizzie is quite correct. The effects of ipecac syrup are virtually immediate. I'd say within 15 minutes at the most.
Oh, really, Doctor? I wish you'd given me the full details of the symptoms in the first place.
You didn't ask me. And besides, I wasn't greatly concerned because the taste of the medicine alone would alert anyone who took it. It would be virtually impossible to disguise it in food or drink.
But someone's been giving it to Latham somehow.
Well, I'm damned if I know how.
She said her breakfast tasted quite normal.
Well, then it certainly wasn't spiked with ipecac syrup.
How does Lizzie know so much about it?
Well, she said she looked it up in the medical dictionary.
Well, then if it comes to that, how did she know the name of the medicine? We didn't know ourselves when we had the women searched.
I think she might have heard it mentioned in my surgery. Look, I didn't know it was a serious problem, and you certainly didn't swear me to secrecy.
Very well, Doctor. Thank you for your time.
I'm sorry I can't stay for a while, but I do have to get back to my practice.
I think you've done all you can. Really, I shall be glad when we can find a replacement for Dr. Miller. It's quite obvious his interests lie elsewhere.
Well, he did say he hadn't thought it was a serious matter.
Exactly what I mean. What we consider serious is no longer of any importance to Dr. Miller. I know I'm being unfair again. You said you had Chrissie Latham outside. Would you bring her in?
Latham?
Sit down. I believe you've been sick again.
Yeah, brought up all me dinner. Whatever Bea's giving me, it's still working.
No, it doesn't work that way. We understand the missing medicine makes you sick almost immediately.
Must have been more of it in me dinner then.
Well, then it couldn't have been administered by Bea Smith. She's been locked up for the last 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. Well, someone else must be giving it to me then, mustn't they?
It certainly seems so.
Mrs. Davidson, I'm scared silly. What's going to happen to me?
You'll be all right, Latham, unless somebody gives you some more of the medicine.
You're going to let Bea out of the pound, then?
Yes, I am.
Well, she'll be out to get me worse than ever.
Then you'd better stay out of her way. Report to Officer Knox and tell her I said you were to work in the garden under her supervision.
Yes, Mrs. Davidson. I hope you don't think I'm involved in this.
Oh, of course not, Meg. I was going to apologize. I'm very sorry for what I said this morning. It's obvious you are too good an officer to allow your personal feelings to interfere with your work.
I must admit it is difficult working with Latham here. Well, I suppose I just have to learn to live with it. The puzzling thing is, who is giving this stuff to Latham?
I have a fairly good idea.
Oh?
But I'm not going to say anything yet, in case I'm wrong. I don't want to have another innocent woman in solitary.
Hello, Angela.
Hello, Greg.
What are you doing here?
I've got some news for one of my clients, Pat O'Connell.
Great one for getting the job done, aren't you? Hope it's worth all the effort.
Oh, I think so. I'll probably end up as Prime Minister one day.
Shouldn't be at all surprised.
You should be prepared to vote for me. After all, I gave you what you wanted. By not letting Karen stay with me. I know it was worrying you.
Oh, yes, to be frank, it was.
She'll make a great success of the halfway house.
I'm sure she will.
Anyway, it's up to Karen now what she does with her life, without too much interference from either of us.
Well, I certainly don't intend to control Karen's life.
Good.
Afternoon, Doctor. Hello, Jim. Well, no doubt we'll bump into each other again.
No doubt.
Miss Jeffries, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You waiting for someone or something?
Someone. Pat O'Connell, actually. I gather you're very short-staffed here at the moment.
Yes, we are.
I sent an officer off some time ago to get my client.
Well, you may as well wait in the interview room. I'll escort you there.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Fletcher.
This way, please.
Oh, Mr. Fletcher, Mrs. Davidson would like to see you as soon as possible.
Thank you.
I imagine you're very relieved to have Mrs. Davidson back on deck.
Yes, of course. This way, please.
Wonder who Pat's visitor is. Probably her mum. Hope she's brought the kids with her. Pat's dying to see them.
Yeah, well, that lady who came out to see me, she didn't come back, did she?
Perhaps you should have told her some of the good things about your life, not just the bad.
I don't remember many good things. Except me mum. She was real good to me.
Then you should have told her about your mother.
She wouldn't have been interested in that.
She might have been. If she wasn't interested in you, she wouldn't have come at all.
Yeah, well, she's not interested anymore, is she? Just wish I'd kept my mouth shut. I must have put her right off. I mean, someone to visit you's much better than no one, isn't it?
Hasn't been that long. She might come again.
Oh, big chance.
Where have you been, Lizzie?
Yeah, Mrs. Jackson suddenly took off after you.
I know.
Well, did you get into trouble?
What have you been doing anyway?
Proving that Bee's innocent.
Yeah? What's she supposed to have done?
They reckon that she's trying to poison Chrissie.
Poison her?
Mm-hmm.
And you can prove that she didn't?
Sort of.
How?
Well, you see, I found out what they was looking for this morning. It was some stuff called syrup of ipecac. I looked it up in the medical book. It was pinched from the doctor's surgery, that stuff. And I looked it up in the medical book, and it says that stuff makes you spew.
And they think that Bee's been giving it to Chrissie somehow.
Yeah, but she couldn't have done because that stuff worked straight away, and Chrissie was sick just a while ago.
What, while Bee's been in solitary?
Yeah, so it couldn't have been anything Bee gave her.
Well, who's been doing it then?
I don't know. Wasn't you, was it, Dor?
Oh, no, of course it wasn't. Only I would if I had half a chance.
Strange, though, isn't it?
It's a real bloody mystery.
I wonder if...
You got an idea, love?
Yes. Would it be lagging if I told Mrs. Davidson?
I don't know. What do you reckon, Lizzie?
Oh, I don't know, but we've got to get Bee out of the pound somehow or another.
Right, I'm going to go and tell Mrs.
Oh,
Davidson.
but you haven't told us yet.
Well, that takes the bloody cake.
Yeah, well, we'll find out later, Lizzie.
Yeah, but that's not now, is it? Where's Pat?
She's got a visitor. Oh, come on, give me a hand.
Well, Pat, I've filed your Form 4 with the family court.
My Form 4?
Yes, your application for dissolution of marriage. The date of hearing will be fixed shortly.
I see.
Oh, come on. Chin up. You know it's necessary.
I don't really believe in divorce. Besides...
Besides what?
Well, my husband, he's not really bad.
You'd have trouble convincing a judge and jury of that.
Oh, I know all that, but he's been good to me and the kids in his own way.
Come on, Pat. This is no time for sentiment. Your husband is going to be in jail for a very long time. Divorcing him means you'll be able to get a parole, and that means you'll be with the kids. And that is the most important thing of all.
Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, when can I see them, Angela? I miss them terribly.
Your mother hasn't been able to bring them to see you?
We haven't been allowed visitors because the officers were on strike.
Oh, yes, I know. Look, I'll organise it for you as soon as I can.
Oh, would you?
Yes.
Oh, you just have to get a message to Mum. She'll bring them in.
Are you going to tell them about the divorce?
Oh, perhaps. They're so young.
It might be better if it came from you.
They love their father.
They're going to be without him for a very long time.
I'll have to tell David. That's the eldest boy.
He's in Pentridge with his father?
Yes.
Well, surely his father will tell him.
I'd like a chance to explain. He'll be very upset. Hope he doesn't think I'm deserting him too.
Oh, Pat, you're not deserting anyone. You have to do what is best for yourself.
With no sentiment.
Exactly.
Don't you ever feel sentiment, Angela?
I've learned to live without it, Pat. Life's much simpler that way.
Simpler? Yes, I suppose it is, but not very warm.
You seem to have settled in quite quickly.
Yes, I like the other women. They've been very kind to me.
I'm glad to hear that. You are not here with a complaint, then?
No. Well, I wanted to talk to you about Chrissie being sick. I don't believe Bee's responsible, and I don't think it's fair she's in solitary.
Bee Smith has been released from solitary.
Oh.
But I shall be glad to hear anything that would shed some light on what has been happening.
Well, there was this girl at my school named Julie Kirk. She wasn't very popular with anyone. She used to bite her nails and never used to wash properly.
Keep to the point, Roslyn.
Yes, Mr. Davidson. Well, Julie used to attempt suicide. She used to take sleeping pills, that sort of thing. But she never really meant to kill herself. She was just trying to get attention. And so I thought that perhaps...
Yes, I see what you thought. Unfortunately, there is no proof in any direction. However, I'm glad you saw fit to come and see me about it. Thank you, Roslyn.
But what's going to happen now that Bee's out of solitary? She's going to be very annoyed, especially with Chrissie.
You don't have to worry about that. I shall deal with it.
I let you out.
Yeah, from here. I reckon they must have. Don't know for how long, though.
Why, what do you mean?
With Chrissie Latham around, I could be spending a lot of time in the pound. The bloody governor reckons if anything happens to Chrissie, I get the blame for it.
Well, they left you out this time, so they can't be blaming you now.
Must have changed their mind. You haven't heard anything?
No, but I've been with a visitor for a while.
I tell you straight, I feel pretty helpless. That Latham bitch can blame me for anything she likes, and they're going to believe her.
Maybe nothing else will happen. Besides, I always reckon that people like Chrissie get their comeuppance in the end without anybody else having to do anything.
Oh, yeah? Divine justice, you reckon?
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, divine justice is what I gave me old man. Look where that got me. I tell you, there's nothing bloody divine about justice in this world. Yeah, what are you looking at?
Oh, photos of the family.
Oh.
This one was taken last year when we were all on holidays at the beach. That's my husband, Eric. And that's my little girl, Emma. She was only 4.
Why's she got her face all screwed up?
She got sand in her bathers. She squirmed around like an eel. And Andrew, that's him there, he tried to help by pouring a bucket of water into her babies. She didn't like that much either.
I wouldn't blame her. Yeah, how old's Andrew?
He's 8. He's a bright boy, very good at his schoolwork.
And who's this big bloke with the beach ball?
That's my eldest boy, David.
He's quite a looker.
He is a good-looking boy. Takes after his father.
I reckon he looks more like his mum. How come there's so many years difference between the eldest and the next one?
Eric was away from home quite a lot.
You mean like working on the roads or something?
No. He was in the nick for quite a long time.
Well, that's where he is again now, isn't it?
And David, too.
Making quite a family affair of it, eh? Oh, look, I'm sorry, love. I know you're missing them.
Oh, well, it's affecting the kids so badly, Bea. Look, Andrew's normally a lovely boy, but he seems to be running wild at Mum's place, and she's just not strong enough to cope with him.
Your mum's getting on a bit, is she?
Yeah, and her health's not the best. The kids are just too much of a handful for her, but what can I do stuck in here?
Oh, don't you worry. You're going to be out of here pretty quick.
I hope so. That's why I'm divorcing Eric.
Come again?
Well, my solicitor says that I'm more likely to get my parole if I dissociate myself from my husband. Well, I wouldn't do it except for the kids' sake.
You're still pretty keen on your old bloke, eh?
Well, he's a bit of a wild man, Bea, but he's always tried to do his best for us.
One way or another. Hey, you reckon this solicitor knows what he's talking about?
It's a she. Yeah, I'd say so. She's always worked very hard for me, and she's always been right before. I'd say she knows what she's doing.
You don't have to stay here tonight if you don't want to. Well, after all the time you've invested in me, I think I should stay. That's what all your care has been leading up to, isn't it? Getting me here as house mother? Come on.
Yeah, I reckon you're right, Lizzie. I reckon I've been set up for sure. And I got a pretty good idea who did it, too. If I'm going to be blamed for everything that happens to her, I may as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb. I'll make her sorry she ever saw the light of day.
It's enough of that sort of talk, Smith.
Oh, what was I saying about justice, Pat? You don't see much of it in here.
I said knock it off.
Oh, hasn't he got a way with women? I bet his wife just melts when he speaks to her in that tone. I've even seen Vera go cow-eyed over him.
Not called Fletch the Lech for nothing, you know.
Hey, Fletch, what are you going to do about that stuff that's gone missing from the doc's surgery? You just going to let it drop?
Well, I might. It's not a serious offence.
I spent enough time in the pound over it. It's bloody serious to me.
Mr. Fletcher, can I go back to the cell and lie down? I'm not feeling well.
Yeah, sure, go on.
How come she's allowed to go?
Yeah, why is she getting special
I
treatment?
suppose they think they have to be lenient with her because she's been sick.
Well, usually they don't care if you're half dead.
Yeah, I have to put on a full-scale turn for them to take any notice of me.
Well, she's pulling the wool over their eyes a lot more than you do, Lizzie.
Oh, don't be too hard on her. She's probably going to be sick again.
How come she wasn't sick at dinner?
After something, Latham?
No, I just wanted to see Dr. Miller.
Dr. Miller left ages ago. Surely you know that, Latham.
I'd forgotten.
Feeling sick again, are you?
No, I'll be all right. I'll see the doctor in the morning.
Yes, that's a good idea.
I'm Miss Patricia O'Connell's mother. I have her children with me. We were told we could see her. We were told we could see her in the garden.
Right.
There you are, darling. Help her over, Andrew.
Over that way. I'll ring through to reception and tell them you're here.
Thank you.
It's all right, Emma.
Yes, of course it is. Mummy will be coming out of the hospital soon and coming home to us, won't she? Why don't you two have a little play until Mummy comes out?
I just want to wait.
Please, Andrew, play with Emma.
Come on, Emma. Come look at the garden.
What's going on here?
What does it look like?
Who are you?
My name's Karen Travers. I'm in charge here.
The council told us you people would be moving in. Not that we're too happy about it down at the station.
Is that right? Why is that?
Well, the last thing we need in the area is a bunch of crims.
Something wrong, Constable?
Oh, Miss Jeffries. No, nothing really wrong. Just someone reported seeing some lights on here last night. I've been sent to investigate.
Well, that was Karen. She stayed here last night. I'm sorry, we forgot to tell you we were moving in. We don't want to be a problem.
Well, we hope not. I'll leave you to it then.
We gonna have them barging in and out all the time? Is the house going to be under constant surveillance?
Probably. What did you expect?
Not to have them on our backs.
Well, look at it from their point of view. A bunch of known criminals all consorting under the one roof. The police have to be suspicious. You can't blame them.
A known criminal. I'll never be free of it, will I?
No. Not entirely. Well, how are things getting along here?
Well, as you can see, there are quite a few things that need doing, to put it mildly. The room I slept in last night's okay, but you should see some of the others. Yuck. In the hallway. Look at this. Look at these dark, damp patches. I'm surprised frogs aren't living in them.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean. We'll have to do something about that.
Who exactly do you mean by we?
Well, I'll call a handyman for you. I don't expect you to do everything, Karen.
I'm glad to hear it.
Did you think it was going to be easy?
Not really.
Good. Then you won't be too disappointed. Oh, look at the time. I've got to go. I've got an appointment.
Oh, Angela, could we have a cup of tea or something? I've brought my electric jug with me.
Well, not really. I can't keep my client waiting.
When will I see you again?
Oh, I'll be around. Don't worry. But it's really up to you now. I know you'll make a success of it. You've got what it takes. Don't hesitate to call me if you need me for anything. But don't be afraid to make your own decisions.
All right.
Well, I'll say good luck. But I think good sense and good management are more important.
We make our own good luck, you mean?
Of course we do. Be sure you make yours.
Emma? Mummy!
It's so good to see you. Come on, we'll see Gran. Hello, Mum. Hello, dear.
Mr. Fletcher? One of the kids had it. They must have found it in the garden where Latham was working yesterday.
I'll take care of this. Come with me, you.
Come in.
It was found in the garden.
Well, now we have the evidence, Latham.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sure you do. It was you who stole the bottle of ipecac syrup.
What's that?
I'm told the syrup tastes so vile you couldn't possibly have it in your food without noticing it. You see, you are the only one who worked in the garden after the bottle was stolen. Why did you take it? Didn't you realize what it would do to you?
I think she was trying to set up Smith.
No, I wasn't.
Well, even if you weren't, Smith thinks you did. And from your point of view, that's just as bad.
Mrs. Davidson, it's up to you to protect me. God knows what Bee's going to do to me now.
I can't control a situation like this forever. If you didn't intend to set up B. Smith, you'd better tell us why you took the syrup. You have nothing to say? Then, Mr. Fletcher, I think you'd better take Latham to the laundry.
I'm having a lot of problems with Andrew. I've had the school principal ringing and complaining about him 2 or 3 times now.
Why, what's he done?
He's playing truant. I've had to start taking him right to school myself. When I try to chastise him for anything, he gets very cheeky. He had me in tears the other day.
But he's always been such a good little boy. Better behaved than most kids. And he's always been so good to Emma.
Oh, yes, that hasn't changed. If anything, he's more protective of her than ever. But he is hard to control, Pat. Sometimes he just wears me out. Little Emma behaves herself well enough, but I sometimes find her sitting alone crying. She doesn't seem to know what's the matter.
I know what's the matter. She's missing her mummy and daddy.
Well, if you ask me, it's a good job their father has been taken away from them.
Oh, Mum.
No, I mean it, Pat. And I'm glad you're divorcing him. If it wasn't for that man, you wouldn't be in here, and David wouldn't be in Pentridge. It's only a pity you did divorce him the first time he was put away.
Oh, Mum, don't go on about it, please. I'm only divorcing Eric so I can get out of here more quickly. That's all there is to it, and I hope Eric understands that. And David.
Well, you better get out of here soon. You know I'm not well. The doctor says I should be resting, not running round after kids.
Can you hold on till Christmas? I should definitely get paroled by then. I'm making sure I don't get into any sort of trouble in here.
Well, I suppose I'll have to hold on, won't I? I can't just desert the kiddies. But I couldn't go beyond that, Pat. Christmas is the limit.
Pat's been gone a fair while. Be nice she was allowed a little extra time with the kids.
Yeah. Must be awful having to leave your kids behind.
Couldn't very well bring them in here, though, could she?
Oh, I don't know. I reckon we'd look after them all right.
Yeah, I would. Be good to have some kids to look after, if they're good kids.
We should suggest it to the governor. I can just see her face. Well, well, well. Look who's come to join us. Been waiting for you.
I haven't done nothing to you.
Oh, yeah? I spent several hours in the pound because of you. You owe me, Chrissie, and I'm going to see you pay up.
You heard what she said, Mr. Fletcher? Stop her.
No, I can't waste my time looking after you. You better take care of this one yourself.
Mr. Fletcher! I want to see the governor. I've got something to tell her.
Well, I hope it's worth hearing.
Yeah.
Come on, then.
I scared the pants off her.
I wonder why she wants to see the governor.
Oh, who cares?
They'll probably stick her back in the garden.
They should bury her in it.
Go to Mummy, Emma. She thinks you're a nurse.
A nurse? Why would she think I was a nurse?
Because they have nurses at hospitals and she thinks it's a hospital.
Oh, I see.
I know it's not a hospital.
Well, if you know what it is. Perhaps you'll grow up with enough sense to stay out of a place like this.
Then why are you here then?
Time's up, O'Connell.
Oh, can't they stay a little longer?
I've let you have more time than usual now.
Now, you be a good boy for Gran. And don't make things too hard for please, Andrew.
Hurry up.
You'll be able to come and see me again soon, and then before long, I'll be able to come home to you.
And Daddy?
No, not Daddy.
Come along, Andrew. Goodbye, dear.
It seems that Chrissie's suddenly anxious to discuss something with us.
Well, I'm very busy. I hope you won't be wasting my time.
No, I won't, Mrs. Davidson.
Well, then.
Well, it's...
Come on, get on with it.
It's a delicate situation, Mrs. Davidson. It's personal, you know.
Well, you can speak in front of Mr. Fletcher. Well, say what you have to say, or I'll send you back to the laundry.
All right. I took it myself to make myself sick. I'm pregnant.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines.